Exercise 1, task 1, closed-ended questions. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I just have a few questions for you as we go on, just so that we can flesh out some of these issues. Our meeting today is going to last about 15 minutes. Is that okay with you?
Great.
And just to let you know, I'm going to be taking notes on my laptop as we speak so that I can make sure to keep note of everything we discussed today, just to keep a record and so that, we're clear and organized moving forward. Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so have you dealt with our firm in the past?
No.
No. And have you ever gone to court, for any other matter other than the one you've come here today for?
No.
No. Okay, and so I understand you're coming in today for a specific issue. Have you contacted any other lawyers regarding this issue other than myself?
No.
Okay, and just for, administratively, have you been given any information about our fees or anything like that?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, and then I'm just going to delve into a little bit of information about you. So are you currently employed right now?
No, no, actually I just turned 18, but no, I haven't been working.
Okay. So are you enrolled in school?
Yeah, I go to high school now, but it's kind of like on and off.
High school,
Especially
okay.
after this accident happened, I haven't been able to do anything.
Okay, so you've experienced an accident recently.
Yes.
Okay, and so which high school are you attending right now? Or kind of on and off attending, just for my record?
Yeah, it's this high school in Etobicoke. It's called St. Ignatius High School.
Okay. And so you had an accident recently. Are you injured?
Yes, I am injured.
Okay. And you mentioned that your high school is in Etobicoke. Are you currently living in Ontario?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay, and your accident, did it occur in Ontario?
Yes, it occurred in Etobicoke, actually, just down from where I live.
Okay. Okay, and your accident, were you on foot or were you driving?
I was driving.
Okay. For the other party, was the other party driving or on foot?
The other party was not driving. The other party was actually the owner of an empty garage parking lot where I found the car.
I see. So when you say you found the car, did you own the vehicle that you were driving then?
No, I didn't own it.
No.
I took it for a joyride.
I see. Was anyone else injured while or like in this accident that occurred?
Yes, the only other person that was injured was my friend who was with me in the passenger seat of the car.
Okay. How many people were in the car at the time?
Just me and my friend, too.
Okay. All right. And when did the accident occur?
It happened at around, let's say 4 o'clock in the morning.
Around 4 o'clock in the morning. Do you have the date? Do you remember the date that it occurred?
I don't remember the specific day, but it was about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay. Okay, and do you have the name of the garage owner?
Yes, his name is James Rankin.
That's the garage owner? And do you have the name of the other passenger that was in the vehicle, your friend?
Yeah, his name is Marshall Balfour.
Okay, and did you say he was injured?
Yes.
Yes, he was injured. Where was he injured?
He actually suffered pretty catastrophic brain injury.
Brain injury.
I'm pretty lucky to have made it out, actually. But,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, with accidents, it's really difficult, and it really does shake you when you get into a bad accident like that.
yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pause. Exercise 1, task 2, narrative statement request and open questions. Okay, so thank you so much, Jeffrey, for that first kind of preliminary info that you've given me. It was very helpful. At this time, I want to remind you that everything you say here is confidential, and that the detailed information you give me is going to help me do my job more effectively in identifying and fleshing out the issues and coming up with an effective strategy for us moving forward. I'm really just trying to get a kind of a clear and full picture of what happened. And so I'm asking that you be as open as possible with me and provide me with as much info as you deem relevant as possible. So with that said, I want you to tell me a little bit about what has brought you in today, about the issue that you're facing.
Yeah, so it's just painful to remember because I got into this really bad accident when I was, driving a car that I found on an empty parking lot with the keys inside. And, I got into this accident. I, was in a joyride with my friend, Marshall Balfour. He was with me in the passenger seat. And, I don't have my driver's license. And so I just didn't know how to control this car. So we ended up in a ditch, and so that's really how the accident happened. But maybe I guess you'd want to know the background as to how we even got there in the first place.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what happened, what took place before the accident, or actually, sorry, tell me a little bit about what happened before you got to the empty parking garage and what
Sure.
led up to the event of actually getting into the car and going ahead.
Yeah, so I was, it was a late night, sometime 2 weeks ago, and I must have been near the weekend because, I was going over to my friend's place, Marshall's place, for a couple of drinks. I was 17 at the time, I should tell you. 17, and I went to my buddy's place, had a couple of drinks. My buddy's mom gave us some weed. So that was fun, and it wasn't too unusual. We kind of do that every sort of Friday night, Saturday night. Anyway, had a couple of drinks, and we decided, we wanted to go for a walk just to see if there's, stuff that we could find in unlocked cars, or just, see if we can just have some fun because, there's nothing to do where we are. So we went for a walk late at night. This was around like 1. And so there's this youth hangout spot that we all, like all the youth in our neighborhood, go to. It's a gas station, and everyone sort of hangs out there late at night, and because there's nothing really to do around us. And nearby, when we were walking to that gas station, we saw a huge empty like parking lot with cars all over it, and like there wasn't any fence or gate or anything like that, and it looked pretty deserted and like as if no one had been there. And so we kind of figured maybe there's some cool stuff here we want to find, or just see if anyone's left anything in the car door. And so we walked over and we saw this one car that had the keys on the dashboard. And so we noticed, like, wait a minute, there's like so many cars here with like keys on their dashboard. So we figured, okay, I mean, clearly no one's really cared about this and wants to sort of lock it. So we got inside. I got inside, And I don't have my, driver's license or anything, but I thought, how hard can this be? I play a lot of video games, driving video games, so figured, it'd be the same. So anyway, I got in and I signaled at Marshall, hop in and we'll go for a little quick drive and then bring it back. But as I hopped in, I took it out of the parking lot and started driving it down the road. No one else was on the road. It was an empty road. But somehow I just lost control, ended up in a ditch, turned the car over, and Marshall was badly injured, and I was, injured as well. And I've had some spinal issues, and that's why I'm here today.
Okay, so thank you. That's really helpful. And I know, like I said, you really get shaken up when you get into a bad car accident like that. And it does sound like, you're shaken up, and it's a lot to experience. I just want to ask a few more questions. Can you tell me a little bit more about the injuries that you experienced?
Yeah, so when I turned the car over and I, I dragged myself out and managed to wave someone down to call for an ambulance. But when I got to the hospital, they said that I have, spinal injury that will require months of physio for me to be able to regain like full motor movements.
Wow, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I am wishing you a speedy recovery for sure. Okay, so those are your issues there. Now, you said that once the accident happened, I want to focus a little bit more about the car and while you were in the car. Can you describe the events that happened while you were in the car? Let me kind of flesh this out a little bit more. Can you tell me a little bit about the speed you were going, about, anything that happened right before the accident, what you can remember right before the accident?
So I don't know if, like, obviously, you're my lawyer and I can tell you that I was, drinking at the time and I was smoking weed, but don't really remember the details. It was kind of a blur, but we weren't going that fast. I mean, it was like, I didn't see any speed limits or, any signposts or traffic lights. Cause this is kind of like a suburban road. It's kind of like, it's not really a highway or anything like that. So it was empty. I didn't see any cars. No cars were hit. So there weren't any lights. I guess it was dimly lit. But it wasn't obviously a slow moving like car because I was kind of like, we did end up kind of injured. So, but I wouldn't say it was like super fast, like highway speeds.
Okay, so just to kind of review, you were driving, you were with Marshall, he was in the passenger seat. It was dark out, you were on kind of a quiet suburban road. You didn't notice any traffic lights, you didn't notice any speed limit signs or stop signs or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And you said that the road itself was dimly lit in addition to it being dark out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, and so I guess I'll ask what happened, after impact. You've said that you kind of dragged yourself out of the car. Can you tell me a little bit more about what happened after impact, including, what happened once the ambulance got there and things like that?
Yeah. So, I dragged myself out of the car and like, I was so disoriented. I didn't know what was happening. I think I hit my head. I think that's one of the first things that the ambulance checked when they came, because I think some passerby stopped and saw the accident and decided to call the ambulance. And so, I was rushed to the hospital. Marshall was rushed to the hospital. Both our parents showed up, and we were treated in the hospital. And it was kind of a blur after that. But I remember my mom asking, who caused this, or who let you get into the car. And I said, look, it's this guy Rankin, he just leaves cars on the parking lot. And, it's so irresponsible because like there are so many kids hanging out so close by at that youth hangout spot at the gas station. That's just ridiculous for him to even think about leaving car keys in so many unsecured cars in the parking lot. So that's when, it got to the point where, I decided, the best thing for me is, like I can't afford these physio payments, like and this wouldn't have happened had Rankin secured or walked his cars on the parking lot.
I see. And I understand. Okay, so I see we're coming up a little bit. I'm just paying attention to the time. We have a couple more minutes together.
Mhm.
I guess one of my main questions would be for you to tell me a little bit about what your goals or what you feel that your interests are coming here today.
Yeah, I really do want to find a way to settle with Rankin, but I'm not afraid to go to court. Ideally, I'd want to settle. I am 18 after all, so I don't know if I have the funds to be able to go to court and drag this out. But essentially, it's his fault for leaving all these vehicles unsecured and like just not taking care of it. I mean, I was 17 at the time. I didn't know what was happening, and I just thought, I could just take this out for a joyride, and I didn't know that this would happen. So I really, want him to be able to take responsibility for the damage that happened to me as a result. I needed to pay for my physio and my rehabilitation. I'm not asking him to like pay me for $1 million or something, but I don't know what lawyers think is an appropriate sum. I just need him to pay for the injuries that he caused.
Right, and yeah, that's something that's important for me to know. Like I said, just to know what your goals are and your interests. So I'm understanding it that you are open to settlement. You would like ideally to settle. That's something that you're open to, and what you're looking for is essentially to be compensated for the cost of your injuries.
Yeah.
The treatment,
Yeah.
the cost of the treatment of your injuries. Okay, and then I guess my last question here, I just would like to know what kind of contact have you had with Rankin and with Marshall since the accident?
I haven't had any contact with Marshall. With Rankin, I've never spoken with him before, and as soon after the accident, I haven't reached out to him either. But I'm hoping that I can get you to reach out to him to sort of let him know that we're coming after him for what he did.
Okay, well, I think that'll be it for my questions for today. Thank you for coming in and for being so honest and sharing, this information with me. I think it's very important for me to be able to understand, again, like I said, for us to strategize and for us to really get a clear picture of what the relevant issues are. And I'm sure we'll be in contact again.
Thank you.